Hey everybody, before I begin, I just want to let you know that I'm running a series of 1,000 V-Bucks giveaways as sort of a celebration for Season 3 beginning and a thank you for 30,000 subscribers. You can use these for the Battle Pass or whatever your heart desires. Just check out the link to the giveaway in the description down below. Now into the video. Retail used to be the top drop zone before a little place called Tilted Towers that you guys might be familiar with came to be. However, becoming the king of retail can still lead to some great games and many victory royales when played just right. I've spent my last 30 games landing at retail and compiled my list of tips to help improve your strategy. Retail can have anywhere from around 0 to another 15-20 players landing there depending on where the bus is coming from, so it's a great place to practice. This guide will take you through everything from landing to where to go afterwards, so let's get into it. Just like I start off every guide, we're going to go through the best strategies for landing. Luckily, Epic just introduced an awesome new tool that lets you see the bus path from the pre-game island. Take full advantage of this before every game to plot out exactly where you're going to jump from for the fastest path to retail. Always aim for those low points and try to jump enough away to where you can really start hitting the ground or rooftops by the time you make it to retail. Fortnite Battle Royale has been out for a really long time and I still see you noobs out there jumping right over where you're trying to land. Don't be that noob. Don't be that guy that nobody wants to be that still doesn't know how to land, to jump far away, dive at low points, and find a gun quickly. As for where to land, I typically go to two areas, either the blacktop stores up on top or the two houses that are on the high ground. You know, the dog house one and the one right next to that. The stores are great for finding weapons on top, and if there's not one up there, there's almost always a gun on the bottom floor of all the storerooms in a variety of chest locations. Listen for footsteps to take down the other players around you, and try to take advantage of the high ground by positioning yourself on top of one of the stores. As for landing on the houses, the two houses you're going to see me land at in this video are the two closer to the stores I just talked about and are located above the others. I always try to land on the roof and get the chest or weapons that are in the ceiling. If someone beats you to that roof, you gotta land on the bottom floor, pick up a weapon, get some resources, and try to build up to the top of the roof to take them out quickly. Most players, and especially new players, are vastly unprepared to be pushed at the start of the games, and you can catch them off guard most of the time. Another landing option when going to the houses, if someone beats you to the roof and you can see the doghouse chest, there is most of the time a chest inside that doghouse, and you can get that quickly, build up to the roof, and take somebody out really fast. Moving into post-landing strategies. I'm assuming that you have a good idea or you've mastered the landing strategy we just talked about. I suggest you land at one house or store over and over until you figure out the chest locations and structure. Make sure you have that perfected and down pat. Then move on to another house, learn that one, before you just start landing in random locations. After you have this spot mastered, you can choose one of three strategies: passive, bail, or aggressive. As for passive, this entails you setting up camp in the top of your house. I don't particularly like this strategy because I feel like you don't really improve, and it's a slow-paced strategy. However, the best way to use this is to position yourself at the top of the house to where you can see everybody else in the rest of the city. Look out for any activity and try to catch somebody off guard. Most of the time, you're going to have that high ground and the OB1 victory will be yours. In terms of bailing, this is my least favorite of the three strategies, but I'm going to cover it because it's still an option for some of you guys that are kind of new to the game. It means you loot one of the houses or stores, maybe get a kill, and then you run away to loot the surrounding areas. This might be smart in a survival sense and if you're really trying to make it to the end of the game, but playing like a weenie is not really going to help you improve, and you'll never be the king of retail. And that's the whole point of this video, is trying to get you better at the game and being dominant in retail row. For my favorite style, this is the aggressive style play after you've landed. I like to use the sweep method. If you look at the layout of retail, all the houses and stores form an oval, or like a circle type object. As soon as I loot my house and take down anyone around me, I run to the next spot in the oval. Typically I go clockwise, but you can go whatever direction you see fit. If you hear shots to your right, go that way. If you hear shots to your left, that's another strategy I typically use. And you just follow along that oval and take out enemies and get the loot. As soon as I either win that gunfight or loot the area, I move on to the next house. This provides a very combat-oriented and fast-paced method for becoming the king of retail and getting up there in your kill count early in the game. Let's get into combat tips. Houses dominate the combat in retail. If someone has that high ground over you, build ramps up to them to better position yourself. Building on top of a roof is pretty hard to do, so if your enemy is on the roof and you're over the top of them, you're gonna have that edge over them very quickly. If you take damage, take cover in the bottom of whichever house you're at. A lot of times you can reposition the battle to go in your favor. You can make a nice escape out the back to build back up to the top of the roof and make the battle yours once again. Fortnite is all about taking yourself to the advantage in 1v1s. Make sure you're using Combat Pro to switch between building and weapons faster. This is going to help you in the tight sweep strategy engagements. As for loot priority, the meta in retail revolves very much so around close and medium ranged fights. You need to loot efficiently to save you time for resource gathering, so at the start, grab whatever gun you can get your hands on. Remember guys, at the start, always grab everything until your inventory's full. Then you can start deciding on what to drop and what to pick up. But later on, prioritize assault rifles and shotguns for the sweep strategy. A great strategy is to hit somebody with a couple of AR shots, then you push them with a pump or a tactical shotgun. This usually results in a one-shot finish, and also at the start of rounds, harvesting materials from the house you land on is so key. Break down anything from beds to shelves to give you some resources early in the game. This is really going to also help you with that strategy of building up on top of roofs and taking people out. Deciding on where to go after you clean up the whole town and you become the king of retail largely depends on where the next circle is located. I'm going to paint you 3 scenarios. The first is whenever retail is within the circle. You can either stay in the town and make sure you have all the loot, or you can try to catch some people off guard at the trailer park and around the Lonely Lodge region. If you decide to leave the town, make sure you stock up on materials. The bushes inside the town and things inside the houses can give you a decent amount, but there are a bunch of trees right outside retail, and that is a gold mine for collecting wood. For scenario number 2, let's say the circle is somewhat close, but retail's not in it. If the circle is southwest towards Fatal, Salty, and Flush, I like to head towards the prison, sweep that area for other players, then I head to Fatal or Salty. Again, stock up on materials before running out in the open. You never want to get caught off guard out in the open of a field and you don't have anything to build with. The final scenario is usually the least lucky one, and this entails anywhere on the west side of the map. If the circle is northwest, I go to factories or Dusty Depot first, then head that way. You gotta really watch out for people coming from like the Tomato Town and places like that, so always be on your guard. And if the circle goes southwest, I go to either Salty or Fatal first. Where to go afterwards always kind of depends too, guys. If you hear shots somewhere, I always head towards the shots, and you can too. That's the way that you really catch people off guard. And sometimes if 2 people are fighting, you can clean up the whole fight, maybe catch both kills, but at the very least you get the last guy that survived. That compiles my list of all the tips for Retail Row and how you become the king of retail. So guys, if you got any more tips or anything, leave them down below. I'll try to pin the best one, and let me know if the strategy works for you. I want to hear about your gameplays and awesome moments, so hit me up on Twitter or anywhere else. I try to reply to everything that I possibly can. Thank you so much again, guys, for 30,000 subscribers, and remember to enter the giveaways because I want to give back to you guys. This has been Cole from the Rodey Bros. A lot more videos to come, and I will see you guys in the next video.